Hi, I'm Ted Ross and welcome to my shop. Today I wanted to share with you a video capture system that Alex and my son and I set up for capturing video at the lathe. So for, what I thought might be a good setup, utilizing the equipment that we had for the most part, but there's a few things that we added as well, and I'll show those as we go along on there. So this is our initial setup. I'm sure it's not perfect yet. It's just getting started. I'm sure there'll be lots of adjustments, but I think it's pretty sweet setup, and I think you'll agree that so far we've got a pretty good start on this going forward. So let me go through and I'll introduce the main components, and then we'll go through each area specifically on how it's connected and so forth and how it works. First, let's start over here. So here is the laptop, and this is like control center, right? Central. And here everything plugs into the laptop computer. So all the cameras plug in here, all the switches and so forth plug in here, and the software runs on here. And I'll explain all of that as we go along. But this is control center. And then we have 4 cameras set up. So we have overhead camera here. There's a side view camera that mounts here. We're actually using that camera right now, which is a webcam. We're using that to film this right now. But normally we'd have that set up over here so we get a side view of what we're doing. Then we have a camera on the laptop, so doing FaceTime stuff. I'll just click to that. So if I want to do something, there's Alex in the background, and just record me in the foreground. I can switch that and then switch back here to our other camera. And then we'll pan over to the DSLR camera we have, which is our end view camera over on the side. So all of those hook into the laptop, and there's a hub actually behind the laptop right now, and I'll show you that in a few minutes as well. So, and then the last thing is if down here, so this is the Stream Deck switch. It's mounted with magnets in this holder that we designed and created and printed in a 3D printer. So it's really pretty cool. And then we have a plastic film that we put over the top of it just to keep the dust out of it. So it's an experiment. We'll see how it goes. But I'll show you these buttons a little clearer as we go through and introduce it. But then I can hook this up here if I want on the lathe, and I can run everything here, or I can put it any place I want to. So those are the cameras. And then let's start out, and I'll go through the details of each of these. So let's take a look at the overhead camera first. So I'll put this up so you can see it a little bit better. But for the overhead camera, I just have my iPhone. It's an iPhone 12 Pro. It's a little holder in here. It just clamps on it like this way. It has a flex tube on it. And then the cool thing about this is that we created a carrier for it. So here you can see the wheels on it that are connected to the rails. And when I pull down the cord, you can see the little brake right there, disengage. So when I pull down the cord, then all I do is I can move this all the way out to wherever I want. And you can see the rails. They're just square tubes, aluminum tubes that this rides on. And I can slide it back and forth like this, wherever I want it. And then release the cord, and the brake goes back in so that it doesn't move around. So I'm trying to move it now from the camera without pulling the cord, and it pretty much stays in place on that. So works great. Okay, so now let's take a look at the laptop and how we have that set up. So it's a MacBook Pro. I've had it for about 2.5, almost 3 years now. I've had this, and running on it is OBS. So we're using OBS software. You could use other packages as well, but this one's free. And then what we got to hold the laptop here, so you can see the little platform, and then the post back here. So, and it's on this flexible arm, so I can move this around back and forth in whatever direction I want to. And then back here, I wanted to show one more thing, which is this powered USB hub. We had a little bit of problems with when we hooked everything to the computer. If I connect everything to them, all the cameras and the Stream Deck, it started to overload the USB channels. So once I put that in that hub down there, all problems went away. The other thing I'll show you is that we have this cam link here, and that is hooked with an HDMI cable to the DSLR camera. That's the only camera we had with that. The rest of our cameras are all USB cameras that were connected to or wireless with my iPhone. So we didn't need to get an ATEM because it was just, we only had one. Okay, so now let's take a look at the Stream Deck switch. As I talked about before, it's connected through USB to the laptop, and it interfaces with the OBS software. So really what the Stream Deck switch does is it allows you to switch between different scenes, or you can kick off applications. There's a bunch of things you can do with it. Instead of having to go to the laptop all the time, you can have an overhead camera scene only, or you can have, in fact, I'll just push the button here. So here's overhead. So if I just want to have overhead, I can push that. You can see I've got the overhead camera. If I want a frontal camera, I can push that and get a frontal camera. If I want the end view, I can push that, which it says DSLR here right now, but really that's my end view with the DSLR camera. So I have all those set up here on the main panel of the Stream Deck. I also have record, and then down at the bottom I have the iPhone audio. So this is if I want to mute the audio for whatever reason. Maybe if I got something really loud going, and it doesn't really matter to hear any audio. And then over here you can see I have a folder called Scenes, and I have another folder called Apps. So when I click on that, I'll go to a whole new panel of switches. So here we go. In the Stream Deck configurator, I created this button to launch OBS. So when I first come in, I can set my laptop up, I can hook the UBS hub up to it, and then all I get, the Stream Deck will come up, go here and hit this, and OBS will launch. So now I'm ready to record. If I want to broadcast, like out to Zoom, I can start OBS virtual camera. So all I do is hit this button first, starts OBS, hit this button, starts a virtual camera, and hit Zoom button. It starts Zoom, and now I'm broadcasting on Zoom, exactly what you see on the screen. And then this is just a configurator for the Brio webcam, and this is a Stream Deck configurator. So I can hit that button and I can bring up the configuration for this. If I want to add another button or change something on it, I can do that. So this is what I call my apps page. If I click this is my return back to the main panel. Now I have another folder called Scenes, and this is the one where I'll be using it the most. And in here, again, I have the record button in the same position. I have a pause button, and I have the iPhone audio again down this side. So I can pause if I want to do something, but I don't want to record all of it. I got to change something up and it's not interesting to the audience. I can hit pause and do that, and when I'm ready to go again, I can hit that, and it all keeps the recording in one file versus having to marry up a bunch of separate files afterwards. And then here's all my scenes, and I just have them scenes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all through 8. And then at the bottom of them, I have them labeled what they are. So this is overhead full webcam, overhead rotated webcam, etc., etc. And then when you click on these, you'll get a different scene. So I'm going to click through each one of these so you can see what happens. So scene 1 is overhead and the webcam. So now you can see the overhead in the main bedroom, and you can still see the webcam down here for the Stream Deck, right? If I had this on a side view, then it would be showing a view coming into here, right, on there. And since we're using this for this right now, you can't see that view. Then if I hit switch number 2, it's the overhead and the webcam, but now notice it's rotated. So my side view would be taking up the major part of the screen, and my overhead would be over the side here, and it's rotated. So that's another scene that I think will be pretty handy for me. Scene number 3 is overhead in the end view. So I have the end view camera coming in here, so I can be working over here, and you can see what's going on with the tool on it through the overhead and on the side of the scene as well. And then number 4 enlarges that side view, so you get even closer view of that, especially if I was doing something right here on the end, maybe creating a tenon or something like that, you could see exactly what I'm doing, but you can still see it on the overhead. And remember, I have this, I can move my overhead camera so I can easily, on my track, move that if I need to right here, and you see that moving the scene at the same time, so very easy. Scene number 5 is a frontal camera, so you can see me there in the overhead. The next one is all 3 cameras going, right? So I've got the overhead, and then at the top right is the face cam, and then the webcam, which would be a side view normally, coming in from here again, but we have it on the Stream Deck right now. And then I have this one, which is the end view with the side. So I got the overhead, I've got a side view at the top, and I've got the end view coming in here from the end. So this is going to be very handy for when you want to be able to see all 3 things going on at the same time, and none of them need to be enlarged. And then this last one is a bigger overhead and a rotated side view. So when I do this one, I have to rotate the webcam 90 degrees on its mount, which is very easy with the mount that I have to do. It's just loosening up one little wing nut, and it just flips over, and then tighten it back up again. So it takes less than a minute to do that. And I can hit the pause button while I'm doing that. So I'm going to go back to the webcam here. So very easy to set up this switch. I would highly recommend getting a Stream Deck. It makes it so easy to set up these scenes. One thing I didn't show you, let me just go back to this one. So when you see so there's 3 different cameras on there right now, and the overhead has got the largest scene. And again, I can move this down a little bit, right, to get a little bit more of that wherever I want to. Real easy, move the camera. But if I decide that I want this bigger on the page, and the 2 on the right, which is the face cam and the webcam, which will be the side view on it, it's easy to do. I just select those, and I can move the size of those around, and then it's captured and it's in that scene. So whenever I come back there, they'd be the same on there. So you'll notice, as I did when I went through that some of these are different sized, right? Look at the difference in the sizes there. So you can set that all up. You can see also that this one now is enlarged quite a bit compared to the way it is here, right? So you can set all that up real easily in OBS. You cannot do it so easily with just a switch like ATEM switch. You can do picture-in-picture, but it's a little more complicated, and you can't have as many scenes. If I wanted to, I could have 3 more scenes on this page, and I could have a folder here called scene set 1 or something, and have another one say scene set 2, have another folder, and I could have all those scenes in there as well. You know, I'd have so many, I'd have myself really confused about what I needed. But most of the time, you'll be using something like this, right? 1 camera at a time, or you might be using like this one, right? Overhead, or maybe with a tailstock, you know, something like this in a side view, or just a tailstock possibly as well, you know, something like that. So once you get these set up, and I think that I will be using probably this one here, maybe the most, or this one. Both going to be really handy, I think. Some of these others will be more specialty things, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, just to recap. So the main components we have is a laptop. We have this stand. We have the power USB hub. We have the camera we're seeing things on right now, which is a Brio, Logitech Brio. We have our overhead camera, which is our iPhone. We have the DSLR as our side view camera. So those are the main components. And we have OBS software loaded on here, and we have the Stream Deck switch. And we made this 3D printed this mount with it, with the 2 magnets that I pointed out before, so I can clip this any place I want to, or you know, any location that I find handy. And I also we put a piece of plastic over the top of it. I can still see these switches pretty well to switch between the scenes quite easily. So that's pretty much it. We have I think a pretty pretty sweet setup here, and I think it's going to work really well for us. We'll see. I'm sure we'll make some changes to some of the buttons and create some more new scenes and different things on it, but I think we got the basic starting kit here, and we'll start doing some video capturing, and hopefully you'll see some of those videos up on YouTube. Anyways, hope you enjoyed it. We enjoyed making it, and hope you got something out of it that'll help you with video capturing if you're interested in doing that. And best of luck to you, and happy turning.